Betsy Evans and Jacob Helesic. Okay, and they're going to talk about their trip to, oh, you can't tell, Vietnam and Thailand. So I'll turn it over to them.
Okay, we're going to start with the 5 W's. Uh-oh. Got to click. Okay, who are we? We are Betsy and Jacob. You have to talk, sorry.
I'm Jacob. That's Betsy. That's who. What are we doing? We're going on a great adventure. That's really what we set out to do. When? So we did this back from June 24th to July 24th of 2019, sort of the before times. We went without really any itinerary except knowing we wanted to go from south to north of Vietnam. And we were going to meet in Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon in the very south of Vietnam. And then we had been saying, okay, we're sacrificing all this hour, all this overtime for a beach in Thailand. So that was kind of our goal, our mantra moving forward. And then it was Betsy's golden birthday and my golden birthday in within the course of a couple days. So this was kind of what we were going to celebrate our big birthdays for. And yeah, we left on basically the end of July. Where? So we started and we landed in Ho Chi Minh City. The goal was to get to the north of Vietnam, and we knew that we were going to go to a beach in Thailand. And so this is kind of just a map to get you started where we're going. And why? So clearly food. We heard about cheap travel and a place to celebrate our golden birthdays again. And like we said, whenever we're stressed, we were working really hard, we said, okay, beach in Thailand, beach in Thailand. So that's what we were doing this for. And how? So we signed up for a credit card, a travel credit card at the same time, and it was kind of a competition who could get more miles. And so we paid off all of our travel plane tickets with our credit card miles. We both have good jobs at the time to be able to work the schedule in. We had done our research, we knew we wanted to go, and we had a lot of input from friends. And I would say, whenever we first started, we wanted to do kind of like, we heard, motorcycle trip through Vietnam. And we knew nothing about riding motorcycles, nothing about riding mopeds. So shout out to Mike Lada, we took his motorcycle class. And that was my Valentine's Day gift to Betsy to kind of get our gears going on going on this trip. So we learned how to ride motorcycles in kind of preparation for this trip. So yeah. And so here's our first day. We landed, and our hotel is on the back side of this building. So we didn't go too far because we were so intimidated by this traffic. But we hit a little food court, had some great noodles. We hit this little place that a friend of ours suggested, some chicken fried rice, some banh mi's, and we discovered our favorite tiger beer here. So this is kind of a theme, subtle theme going throughout. But yeah, we kind of had to enjoy that. So this was this little stall right outside of our hotel, sort of right across the street. And this lady occupied this section of the street from, I don't know, maybe 6 in the morning till about 10:30. And then somebody else would come in, change all of this, do a lunch shift, change everything, do a dinner shift. So we went to her for breakfast, and this is what we had for breakfast. Shrimp pho to start our day, first day, full day in Saigon. And it was close enough to the hotel where I had Wi-Fi, so I was doing ferocious research because we really had no plan going into it. So yeah, that's how we started our first meal.
There's more food.
Yeah, then we so we're just going to throw a lot of pictures of food at you. I'll walk through it. If you didn't eat dinner, I'm sorry. You're going to be hungry. So little exciting mushrooms wrapped in bacon, little late night noodle coming back to the hotel, and just all the food was spectacular. So this is just a start. And then there's this guy that just amazed us. So I ended up counting 10 water bottles on his bike, and he pulled up right in front of us. We were having coffee. He would pull up, unload his water delivery, load it, and get back on his bike. And he's got 10. He's got them on either side here. He's got 5 back here, and it was just mind-blowing what these guys would put on a scooter. So had to shout out to this guy. This guy is working hard out there. So our first goal was to get all the way down to Krabi. To fly there, they sort of go by way of Bangkok. So we had to fly through Bangkok. We said, all right, let's do one night in Bangkok. We've heard of that before. So we hit that. We found these wonderful sodas. For those of you who drink Topo Chico, this was Betsy's substitute. Big fan of those. And then the old Tiger beers, which we loved. So if you get a Tiger beer, get it in. We did hot pot this night. We did the veg, and we were so hungry that we just threw the meat in without taking a picture. So we didn't save that for y'all. But hot pot night. We had this little view of Bangkok. Crazy large city, just hustle and bustle. Really quite still overwhelming for us at this time. You know, we're used to Alpine, a little slower.
Day 3.
Day 3, this place is just go, go, go. So anyways, moving on. Here's our sort of signifying we're going. So the flight was really cool. We're going through all this lush green wilderness. We're seeing a lot of limestone features, and we were just getting so excited. And so we ended up all the way over here in Krabi. That was our final destination. And so since this is our destination for celebrating our golden birthdays, we got this beachfront place. What sold us was the jacuzzi on the balcony, on the waterfront. And the bonus was that our king-size bed looked right at the water. And so that was pretty wonderful. Room service beers were only $2, I'll say that. Yeah. Beach in Thailand. So this is kind of the first exposure we get. We get to town, these huge limestone cliffs, seeing starfish, and we're just loving the views of the beach. And this is sort of before, during, and after lunch. So we kind of got to get the full spectrum, you know. Let the camera eat first. Then we got the soft shell crab, and then this is kind of the feeling after you eat. And we're eating right on the water, so everything we're doing is basically beachfront. And yeah, great time in Thailand. So we walk basically to the end of this beach. We find this little swing. Of course I jump on it, right? And this is like this cool little river inlet into the ocean. We find these stairs and we start climbing it. We have no idea the signs, warning signs, whatever. You know, we're just going. We see the stairs.
What's the climate like?
Oh yeah, at this point it's basically walking around in Houston. 100 degrees, 120 degrees humidity, 120% humidity. It's just hot. But this is what that little bridge led to. A totally private beach. Just beautiful scenic views, and we just sort of laid down, did a whole lot of beaching. You know, that was kind of the goal. So yeah, great scenes.
And when we weren't beaching.
And when the next day we got a hold of a motorcycle, a little moped, nothing crazy, but just wanted to get our wits about it. So we started cruising around the island, and of course, a little pit stop. Got to have a beer, got to enjoy the beach, got to just kind of soak it in. And then we decided to walk the beach here, and this was another little mountain stream coming into the ocean. This water was ice cold, sort of fresh river water just coming straight off, and we were just like really astonished by this. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense where this was coming from. Didn't look brown, it was all clean, so we were playing with it, but you know, we didn't bottle it just yet. Then this is where we had lunch. You know, the theme continues. Beach in Thailand. We're having lunch. We're sitting on the water. Betsy orders a curry pizza. Thought that was a little off kilter, but turned out it was pretty good.
I will say, every time I ordered pizza in Asia, he would not let me photograph it.
Yeah.
I didn't want evidence.
No. Pizza in Thailand, no. But it turned out all right. So, okay, then we jumped on a guided tour. So it was $50 a day. They would take us from the hotel and drop us back off. 1 day type thing. I said, sure, let's do it. So we get on this crazy long boat, and it goes into all these little nice lagoons. The guy said, you know, we got 15 minutes here. And we come into this little lagoon. He lets us go swim, and before the tide would come come out. Basically, you could still get in. So as the water was decreasing, it's like, all right, we gotta go. So, great little guided tour. There was a couple stops. We did a little snorkeling, and I took my GoPro with me and took some pictures. So, I became friends with the guide, and he showed us some of the anemones and some of the sea urchins, and basically just harmless snorkeling in Krabi. It was really wonderful. This is our guide, June. This is our guide. And then this was the gigantic boat that we were just cruising. And they had these really rambunctious diesel engines with these long propellers. And these guys were just fearless with these boats. But we really enjoyed that. So this is what we're looking at. You know, as we're cruising by, everybody's like, what are you looking at? This is what we're looking at. There were these incredible karst features coming out of the water, all kinds of limestone, and it was just, you know, as the boat was going, we were just loving it. More and more of these wild features. I mean, it really was just sort of breathtaking to just be on a boat in Thailand. What else we got? Okay, so this is our lunch spot. So this is our boat. We all docked here. Our leader, he was an ex-chef. He retired. He brought some nice curries. We were eating curries. Mind you, it's hot. It's hot outside. This is Houston. And we're eating hot curries. Still loved it. We were enveloped in sweat. Whatever. We're enjoying it. We're on a beach in Thailand. So we get to this highly protected, preserved beach, and this is our protection. This guy in flip-flops and sandals. Mind you, all of this stuff, we don't know what's going on. Do not feed wildlife. I didn't even know that, so I just read that. What's going on? What kind of wildlife is coming our way? What's going on? So we're laying on this beach, kind of napping. I'm like, all right, honey, I'm going to go for a little walk. So I go for a walk, and I come across this gigantic, what I found out was a water monitor. And I'm just one-on-one with this thing, frozen. This thing is as big as me, maybe bigger. And I have this video of it walking, and it's a giant dinosaur. Mind you, I walked past all the warning signs. Watch out, gigantic dinosaur-looking lizard. I come out of the forest, she's sleeping. I'm like, honey, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe what I just saw. And sure enough, we go back. We don't see this thing, so she doesn't believe me until she sees the picture. She just thinks I've lost it. But this thing was insanely scary. It's huge. I don't know anything about lizards. I don't know about lizards this size, and so yeah, really scary, memorable. Yeah.
How big is it?
As long as me, if I was laying down, for sure 6 footer. I mean, this thing is gigantic. It's huge, and that's why I was like. I'm not moving. I'm not moving until he moves. So, yeah. So I get back to the beach and we just keep going on. So yeah. That night we get to the beach. Curries on the beach, waterfront, crabs. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And this is our view. We're sitting right here, drinking beer, eating curries. It's hot. We love it. You gotta want to be there. So yeah. We enjoyed that. Little nightcap. Next day, we get on, this is like basically an island ferry now, and we're just going to the next beach. There's a couple of like secluded beaches that you can go to, and you could get sort of a hotel there, but it was really inaccessible, so we stayed a little bit back, but we took a ferry over, and these are just some of the views. It's all okay. So these are just some of the views, and it's just really still mind-blowing as this part. We're really enjoying our beach in Thailand. And then we get to this beach and there's all these caves. There's all these incredible features. This thing's coming all the way down. I took the touristic photo. Why not? But this is the beach and some of the cave features. Go ahead.
Rayleigh?
Yeah, this is called Rayleigh Beach. So once again, this is the beach. This is one side, and then we walk the entire beach and go to the other side. We find a little shade. We're shade lizards, so we lay down, have a little nap. Right? And then this guy walks up on me. I'm sleeping. She's not. She wakes up to this guy. This is literally her shoes. We're laying right here. He walks up on us. All right. We're out of here. We're taking a hike. We're not doing it. The lizard thing All right, we've had enough. But once again, this is the beach. The boats just pull up, and these are just the features that we're seeing. It's just really spectacular. So, yeah, our last lizard encounter for the trip, thankfully. Yeah, that was a good one as well. So last night, had to get the yellow curry, green curry, red curry, get it all. Last time we're indulging, last restaurant on the end of the beach. Got Betsy to do a little Instagram pose with the sun, you know, loving it, beach in Thailand. So knock that off the bucket list.
That's the pit stop.
That's it. So, okay, that was kind of the detour. We hit Thailand, now we're going back to Vietnam. We hop on this plane, we're seeing all the beautiful coastal features. One night in Bangkok, we did our research this time around. We went to a crab-only restaurant. So crab pho, crab shawarmis, and authentic crab rangoons. The real deal right there. There's a person just crab. That's their whole job, just shucking crab, separating it. Incredible. This was it. The crab rangoons, couldn't beat it. Had to burn off a little energy, so we saw a couple temples. Really, really cool white marble, really, really intricate work. I mean, that's really what I was there to see, was sort of the ornamental type of flutes and all the things coming off the building. Really, really fun walking around Bangkok.
But we were so overwhelmed. And
Yeah.
it was too big.
The bustling cities were a lot. They were plenty. Okay, so Bangkok, now we're coming back to Vietnam, and now we're sort of in the central part of Vietnam. We had heard a lot about these sort of three cities, so we flew right into the middle to Da Nang, and then we're going to Hoi An to start. We're starting sort of south to north. And Hoi An was a lot slower, small town, so we were able to kind of get on the scooter. It was another small, safe sort of town, so we're riding our moped through all the little rice paddies, seeing the cattle. These are the little roads, and there's people working the fields. And it's really more of like a farm type of vibe. It's really, really beautiful. And we had a lot of fun. So Bourdain came, of course, right? And he got a banh mi at this place. We waited maybe 15 minutes. We get to the table and they say, okay, we're out of baguettes. We're out of the banh. And we're like, okay. And they're like, 15 minutes. So we were like, okay, we'll wait 15 minutes. So we get our banh mi's. The bread is still hot, still crunchy, still, oh my gosh. We chugged these things down in 2 minutes. So we waited 30, ate in 2, and got out of there. It was absolutely incredible. So Bourdain was definitely onto something here. Great little spot. Kept going on our scooter, and then this is the type of beach that we were just finding. You know, one person there, maybe 20 available chairs, got the umbrella, whatever you want, and we would just kind of cruise and just hang out, watch the water for a little bit, and continue on. And we had a really, really good time just kind of cruising the scooter around these areas. So then, once we had so much fun on our offshore boat trip the first time, we did it one more time to go on a little snorkeling adventure. So this one, we saw a whole lot more jungle, and we had a little lunch here. This is sort of a snorkeling spot, and then this is sort of the islands that we were seeing off the coast. So Vietnam was a little different than Thailand, but really not that crazy. So, beach in Thailand, we're having a good time.
Beach in Vietnam.
Beach in Vietnam, same thing for us. So yeah, we were enjoying the shade, we were enjoying the snorkeling, having a good time, and we have a couple pictures of what we saw. Snorkeling, some starfish, some more Nemo, some sea urchins, and some really good corals, and we just really had a blast snorkeling. Betsy got the sunburn of her life. We don't have any pictures for public consumption, but she will never forget that sunburn, I guarantee
When
it.
you're, on your belly all day in the water, you can imagine.
Yeah, just the entire backside is just crisp.
And this is the picture is before we realized how sunburned we were.
That's why we got smiles on still. We haven't gotten to the aloe phase here. Yeah. So snorkeling adventure, great. We get to Hoi An, we see everybody in these banana jumpsuits. We said, yes, of course we're getting these. So Bucky has shirts, she's got a dress, I got shorts, banana shorts, the whole nine. Yes, we're doing it, 100%. So yeah, we got the jumpsuits, and we still have them.
Why didn't you wear them tonight?
I brought my hat. But I guess I forgot to put it on. Yeah, it was many moons ago. And then after you wash them once, they're unwearable forever. So yeah, they basically became baby clothes after one cycle, cold wash, the whole nine. So those are no longer with us, pretty much.
Night market in Hoi An.
Yeah, night market. Hoi An was a very small, pedestrian-friendly, no mopeds in the street, so it was really walkable, really likable type of place. And I think on the next slide, we did a cooking class.
Yes.
And the cooking class was unique in that it was a 5-hour experience. They pick us up, and they took us to the market at first. So they walked us through the market, showed us where they get their vegetables, meat, whatever. And so we got picked up. It's first thing in the morning. We got coffee. We're walking the market. The ladies demonstrating all the tools that they use, where they're getting their fresh produce. And we're just kind of scanning through all these fresh fish. They'll cut it open, show you what the innards look like. Whatever you need to buy the fish, they'll do it. And then this was the meat-only section, which happened to have a roof. So this was a little more civilized. But as you can see, there's definitely no refrigeration here. Pretty hardcore smells in this one. The smell-o-vision's not on, but it's definitely pretty strong in here. Eggs, snails. They love these little snails because they just boil them, and then with toothpicks, they just eat them. Yeah, we didn't hit those quite hard. So what was unique about this place is they had a full-on restaurant. And so that's where we did the cooking class. We went to the restaurant, and there was basically somebody creating these type of dumplings and these type of dumplings. And you could kind of jump in. They were making fresh noodles, fresh dumplings. Betsy got to try her hand in some noodles. So she got involved and sort of could demonstrate and show us what was going on. Wonderful crispy scallions. They would just do it in the bucket full. It was, yeah, smell-o-vision was good here too. So this is a place where we did the cooking class, and so this is us. Here we go. So we did this wonderful chicken marinade, and they had sort of all the things ready for us. We had these little air-conditioned classrooms, which is worth every penny, because it was kind of nice and cool. Betsy knows what we made, but I don't.
This is a chicken, a marinated chicken with a green papaya salad, which is really popular. And on the other side is a cabbage broth soup with ground pork. That was really delicious.
And then that was like a scallion pancake type thing.
It was a scallion pancake that you made the pancake and then you rolled it in rice paper. So it was like crunchy, chewy, and really delicious.
Yeah, so we got to cook it and eat it immediately after. So full experience. The cooking class was something for sure I would recommend 10 times out of 10. Some of them would let you shop for your stuff that you would cook. We just kind of walked through the market and then they brought the goods to us. We were, I guess, we didn't really know what we were buying. But the guy kind of shook us awake that morning. He was like, hey, you guys got a cooking class? We're like, yeah, it's like lunchtime at that time. But it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. And so cooking class was great. So then the place is a restaurant. So we saw these ladies making these dumplings. So we came back for more. So we had to indulge. So these are 3 different courses of dumplings, and we just kept them coming. Just next. Lovely restaurant, lovely cooking school. Overall great experience. And I think we spent the entire day there without any regrets.
Vines Market.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yes, and there's Hoi An.
And then there's Hoi An by day and by night. So at night they would sort of do the lanterns in the canals. And really at night the place kind of woke up a little bit. A lot of lights, and during the day it's kind of a sleepy sort of farm type town. And these sort of bridges with different themes were common throughout. But this was just one at day and night was just totally different.
Were the lanterns just floating around.
Just floating around. Yeah, totally. It was great. Yeah. So okay, we're in Hoi An. We heard from our farm stay host that we got to go to Hue. This is like sort of like the imperial city. But he said that you want to take a private car. We didn't know why, so we did it. Let's go. This guy was not a professional, I'll remind you. But evidently driving a Stain was not as fun as he wanted it to be. So I got out and lent a helping hand on our little route. But all in all, the views as we were driving were great. And the guy would pull over, and we came to this marble city? Marble Mountain. And there's this pergola, what do they call it? Pagoda. So this was a really cool pagoda, and all of this is marble. And there's all these really cool walking paths and caves. So we took the elevator there, just to save us the scenic route. We were trying to get to Hue. But here's sort of the view from the top. And these were all marble sculpture vendors. So all of this was all solid marble, incredible sculptures, incredible things. If you want to get anything cool in marble, here's the place to go. But the landscape, just still really stunning. So still driving. We're sort of in the middle of what we knew of nowhere, you know, but beautiful panoramic views. And then he brought us to this little lunch spot where all the taxi cab drivers were eating. So this was authentic, and we had great spring rolls, and we had to actually pay for this picture, so we had to show you guys. And we paid with $1 solid US dollar for this photograph. So that was big money. So he wanted actual dollars. So this is sort of Hue, the imperial city. Whatever that means, it was beautiful. It was absolutely stunning. And around this whole sort of fort was this giant moat. And the moat was just filled with all these lotuses and all these lily pads. And it was absolutely stunning. And this was all the sort of gate entrances at night. Really, really grand. And obviously some type of palace or fort, or, you know, we were just loving the pedestrian aspect of it. Not historians, clearly. No, we did not read up on our locations. We were just going with it. This is a place we had memorable pho for breakfast, so we had to show you guys. So pho was just what you were eating for breakfast. And it was 100 degrees outside, and you're still having hot soup, and you're still enjoying it. How? I don't know. But we must have been really wanting to be there. Okay, so from here, we hop back. So we've heard a lot about the north, out of Hanoi, and we have 3 destinations we went to outside of Hanoi. And to start, we went to the very, very far north, up to basically the border of China. And
so we hopped on a flight from Hue to Hanoi, and we were running really behind, but we somehow still made our bus.
And this bus was culture shock, okay? So this is like a 3/4 lounging recliner type chair. There's 3 rows of it. Since we're last, we're middle row, second level. We got the primetime seat, clearly, as the tourists. And for people Betsy's size, this was perfect. This was quite an enjoyable, relaxing angle. She could sleep. For me, it was not quite as fun. But
this is Jacob's legs.
I was hardly fitting. But so we get on, they're like, hurry, sit down, we gotta go. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
For like a 6-hour.
Yeah, for 6 hours, we don't know if they're pulling over. There's definitely no bathroom. Yeah, really, really exciting stuff, this one. But we get to the north, and we hear about this sort of motorcycle loop. And it sort of takes you to the countryside. We want to see the terraced rice fields.
Where are we?
We're in
Haijiang.
And we got this hotel room, and it's sort of at the corner curved window, and we get to see the peaks right outside. This is actually a hostel, and we got a private room, and it was just a beautiful spot. So this is where we started our sort of scooter adventure, and sort of there's like 2-3 days adventure. Next slide, Diamond.
I was gonna just say, like, just to reiterate, we are almost on the border of China. That's
Yeah,
where we are.
We're at the very, very northern tip of Vietnam. And so we hit this scooter loop, right? Our hostel brought us a scooter. We didn't even have to go anywhere. They gassed it totally up, and we did 180 kilometers in one day. So we were just hauling, going. And we saw some really, really incredible countryside. So we started down by the river, down in the valleys, and then we ended up in the pine trees, way up high, really beautiful forest. And along the way, we're seeing these just breathtaking, scenic overlooks. And this is the type of road that we're riding on this little scooter. I'm driving, she's on the back. Incredible experience. And it just keeps going. So these are all sort of the terraced rice fields. And we're just kind of going through the views where, I mean, the pictures just cannot do it justice, as you can imagine. And we did a full 180 kilometers. It was crazy. They were kind of like shucking corn and drying the kernels just out on the street, and we had no idea what they were doing. But it was really fascinating to see. And obviously they're harvesting, they're growing everything, corn right here. And yeah, just a little fascinating thing. And this is the repercussions of driving the scooter all day without remembering sunscreen. So, yeah. So anyways, we got our motorcycle fixed, and we're moving on. We're coming back. So we came way up here. We basically did some motorcycle loop up here. We come back to Hanoi, and then we heard about Ha Long Bay. So kind of like an offshore boat tour. So we did a boat excursion. And this is the boat that we're staying on. It's got our accommodations, dining room, and then this is sort of the main sun deck. And so we're just doing a little boat cruise. This is our air-conditioned room, had our own mini split, so totally comfortable, totally cozy. And then these are some of the features that we're seeing out of our window, just enjoying the boat, really having a good time. We stayed the night, and we got to go on these little kayaking adventures. And so we get in the kayak, we'd hit these little lagoons, and then the guy would come into this little cave, and then we'd just kayak through the cave, and then we'd come out to another lagoon, and then we kind of cruise through another cave. And in these caves, there's all kinds of bats, and it's just so scary. But then you come out, and then you're seeing these wonderful lagoons. We'll hop out, do a little swim in. You know, obviously you're hot. You hop out, do a little swimming, and then we just kept kayaking, and this was really, really quite the adventure. As we're boating, you see all the floating fishing villages. These were like just really, really cool. And so we pulled over at one of them, and they let us kind of walk around. And every one of these floating sort of clusters has their own grouper. And they have this long, long, deep net down, whatever, 30, 40 meters. And they keep it under the floorboards, but it's kind of a good luck symbol. It's something that you keep with your family, with your village, with your boat for years and years. And they pulled this gigantic grouper up. They just sort of pulled it up from the net, and then we just put the boards back over and act like nothing happened. It was just really astonishing. So these little floating fishing, villages were really, really great. So we got to do a little tour. This is Tommy, our tour guide, so he was explaining everything to us. Really just such a blast. So at night we did a little squid fishing. So we're squid fishing, just kind of jigging up and down the water, nothing crazy. And this gal in this beautiful white blouse catches a squid. She's over the moon. She dressed up to the nines, right? And she catches a squid. And she totally got inked. And she was so upset. Oh my gosh, she was screaming. I could hardly get a picture, but I had to we all got to poke fun at her. Like she got one squid, so the chefs weren't quite making dinner that night based on our catch. But nonetheless, it was a funny moment. And these were the views at night, sort of as the sun was setting. in the bay, everybody turn on their lights, and just kind of really hanging out in this giant boat. Really, really incredible experience. This is our guy Tommy, and this is sort of the last day as we're coming to the harbor. And like I said, just the views, yeah, really, really great. Couldn't say you shouldn't do this, you know. And they'll pick you up from Hanoi and take you all the way to the coast. But we chose to go to the coast ourselves and then hop on a boat. So we saved maybe a little bit of money, but yeah, that was also really fun. So come back to Hanoi, and then we hear of this place, Ninh Binh/Tam Coc. It's another really, like, my goal was to see sort of the rice fields, the rice fields. That was my focus. I want to moped through the rice fields. So we go to Ninh Binh, we get another scooter, we're ready to go, and we're just running the rice fields. Obviously, you're taking your shirt off because it's 120 degrees, and you're just sweating through your shirt, so it doesn't even matter. But these are sort of the views that we're seeing. Just incredible, incredible paddies straight to the limestone. Then we're seeing sort of like the shallow, marshy sort of rice fields dying into just sheer cliffs. And it was just really, really, this was like the most picturesque place where we were just cruising. And there's a couple canals, and you can kind of rent a boat and just cruise through. The canals are filled with ducks and pagodas. And these little shrine pagodas are everywhere. And so we just had another blast just cruising on the scooters. Not doing 180 kilometers today, but just kind of cruising. And then this is like this overly Instagrammed spot, and we were just amazed that we got a picture with nobody in it. So we had to show that to you. And of course, the lotus and the lily pads are just everywhere. It was really, really scenic. And then I got Betsy in front of the pagoda, nice and Instagrammable. But this sort of goes up, and then there's this temple carved out into the limestone cliffs. They have these little shrines, and we didn't get pictures inside, but it was just, you know, a really, really calming place. Really beautiful way up in the mountains. Get back on the scooter, and we're just cruising, and yeah, these views on the scooter in these rice fields. I mean, I could have done this for 4 or 5 days, and mind you, there's no streets. It's sort of, we're taking little pavement sidewalks, so there's no 18-wheelers. It's really scooter pedestrian friendly, so much slower vibes compared to sort of the big cities like Ho Chi Minh and Saigon. So then we kept going, and we hit sort of we were driving, and we see this just obnoxious thing coming out of the landscape. All right, that's got to be something cool. And it's this guy's private house. It's his palace. So we're like, oh, surely this is a museum. We pull up in our scooters. We're like, oh, is there a tour? He was like, no. That'd be a no. Are y'all open? No. Hey, we got a big old solid finger wave. So, no, this is just literally some guy's private residence. Incredible feature in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, we thought we were going for a little tour, and yeah, we got the old finger wave. But we went to this cool bird sanctuary, and we sort of climbed up, and this was somewhat of like the overview of the features of the rice paddies. More lotuses, couldn't get enough of these. And then this was a cemetery that was up there. It was really, really great feature. And then we found this lady making banh mi's in this little shop. And we stopped, and this became one of our favorite spots because we saw on the menu she had peanut butter tofu banh mi's. I said, I don't know, that sounds a little funny, but we're going to go ahead and order it. We got, I think, 3 more to go. We were hooked. They were so good. It was totally hot peanut butter, hot tofu, and we couldn't figure out what their secret ingredient was, but it was green papaya, just shaved really, really nice. And so, big shout out to her for sure. She's doing it. And so this was still a part of the bird sanctuary. So you climb up these stairs through these caves. Betsy counted some 500 steps. She was clearly in the right mood for the steps. Counting like, how many more? There were but we get to this view, and it's just this little window out into the fields. And it was really, really beautiful. But like I said, it's hot. You gotta really, really want to be there. But we get to this cool bird sanctuary, and they trim the trees up really, really nice. And we got to watch this sort of storm front come in, and just the landscapes were really, really nice. And the bird sanctuary was strange because we never saw any birds. And we were wondering, how is this a bird sanctuary? What are we protecting here? They're not even here. What's going on? So we paid the fee, we saved the birds, but we saw none. So I wish I could show you the picture, but yeah, we protected some of it, for sure.
Well, maybe the birds wait until it's not 120 degrees.
Maybe they're smarter than we are. Yeah, that's totally possible. But this area, we just really the calmness, the landscape, the sort of lack of development, and that's what we really enjoyed. So all in all, we kept going, scooter, rice paddies, and then we come to this place, and it's a quarry. So on the back side of this is complete destruction and quarry, but on the front side it's totally beautiful. And there's all these masons carving headstones and really ornamental stuff. Really cool craftsmen going here because they're so close to the source. And yeah, we just kept scootering. So once again, these lily pads, the lotuses, the farm stay, the little handmade bamboo bridges. Yeah, just really enjoyed the area. And then, so the ducks became dinner. So we didn't know what the whole duck thing was about until we sat down for dinner and they said, "You want duck?" "Yeah, of course we do." And so they delivered. Had a great dinner there, enjoying our favorite tiger beer from day one to the very last day. Super hot, super sweaty, super thirsty, but great duck, fresh. Okay, so now we've sort of done way north, so now we're finally going to enjoy the city. We're going to Hanoi. We fly out of Hanoi and we get this super vintage hotel, like old style phone, wallpaper falling off the wall, as authentic as they can be. Really enjoyed. And then we're back in the city. Now we kind of have our wits about us as far as the city lifestyle goes. So we start cruising around Hanoi, and we got the Obama special. So when Obama met Anthony Bourdain, he went to this restaurant. So we got the Obama combo here. And in Hanoi, they have a traditional dish called bun cha, and it's super barbecued meat in a really sweet broth. So it's two totally different realms, super charcoal, super sweet broth, and these little seafood puffs, 130 degrees inside, I bet it was. And this place is so busy, but had the Obama special. And then, of course, we got to give it up to these guys for carrying all this stuff on the moped. You know, I couldn't even imagine how many beers this guy has on his moped. But they would do it. So back in the city, sort of the chaos. You know, you see these electrical lines and wires, and then you see this gigantic, beautiful tropical tree, and sort of this just difference here from some crazy urban to still having the giant trees was really astonishing. This was right outside of our hotel room window, and so somebody would occupy this corner from 8 to 10, and then somebody would get lunch shift from 10 to 2, and then somebody would get the dinner shift, and then literally somebody would get the late night shift, and it's open 24/7, and it's just a different person coming to that corner. And one thing we never saw in this big city was a place for sale or for rent, or everything was occupied. It was every single square inch had shifts of different people coming to sell whatever it was, and the real hustle and bustle it was really wild. And from day one to the very end, you know, it was still intimidating to just cross the street. It was really something else. And, you know, basically, we're in this shipping mecca, and all of these markets, like, these ladies just had dried mushrooms, and you could get however many mushrooms of dried, 100 pounds of whatever mushroom, we didn't even know what they had. It was just as tall as they were. And so we decided to don our banana suits to go do some souvenir shopping, which we thought would be a good negotiating tool. But maybe we stuck out like a sore thumb. So this lady saw that from a mile away, took a picture to us, and we had to pay for this picture again. She was like, here, you wear this. I'm sick of wearing this. And then she took a picture. All right, that'll be $2. But yeah, so don't wear banana suits if you want a really cheap price. It just doesn't work that way. Your negotiating tools go straight out the window. And then we met up with a friend of a friend, and we had this home-style traditional dinner. And she picked this restaurant as kind of like a traditional countryside restaurant, typical like Sunday, full day of cooking, and then this is the one big meal. And so this is really, really home-style food. And I wrote down all the things that we ate here because it was incredible. Betsy.
Oh, pork stuffed beetle leaves and the like little dolmas, chicken papaya salad, morning glory and garlic on the right, mushroom stuffed tofu in front, and pork belly, and I think the clam soup's out of.
Yeah, and then the clam soup was after you ate. You then have more soup, and that was supposed to be the palate cleanser. We already ate. And she's like, oh, now we got to get soup. And she gets this gigantic soup. And we're like, oh my gosh, I can't not eat anymore. But really, really incredible home-style food. From start to finish, we didn't have a single bad dish. We enjoyed all of the food. And so now we're just going to kind of wrap it up with a quick fire of food. So sticky rice with braised pork or barbecue pork and this little cucumber salad. We devour this. And we go back, we get another plate. We just could not get enough of whatever this was. This sort of yellow, sticky rice mashed up, incredible. This is their typical bun cha, that super, super barbecued meat, and then the super sweet broth. You throw a little noodles, throw a little bit of veg, and then you make it as spicy as you want. And the lady's got this gigantic charcoal fire. You're in an alleyway this wide, and you sit in a chair about this big, and it's just an incredible experience. Food was phenomenal. So we've been away from home for 4 or 5 weeks, and we find this Tex-Mex restaurant. And we shamelessly ordered enchiladas, tacos, rice and beef, margaritas. I mean, we were falling over. We missed home so much. We enjoyed the food, but we missed home so much. So we had to do a little shout out to this little Mexican restaurant. If you served it here, maybe it wouldn't be the same flavors, but for what we had, this was as good as it got.
But the guy he's from Austin, so it actually
we found out
he was doing it's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. His inspiration was spot on, but margaritas and it was good to be home in the middle of nowhere. So more food. Noodle bar. Here we go. They're just throwing hot noodles, getting everything, banh mi and beer to go. Boom, no problem. Some noodles, meat. Everything was so good. All the food just kept loading it up. And then just more Hanoi. And we found this little guy on the scale, and I said, that guy's not for sale. Come on. But yeah, just the cityscape, this Hanoi sort of, the electrical grid, it has to be something else there. Yeah. So Hanoi was a crazy city. And then even leaving at the airport, we still got more fun. That's how hooked on it we were from start to finish. We enjoyed the food. We wanted more. We never had a bad meal. And we just kept eating and eating and eating and just sweating it all right back out. Pretty much. So we got to throw some tips in our full banana outfits. So Vietnam and Thailand are very much so cash cultures. So you've got to have cash on you at all times. Definitely keep your big bill separate and be willing to negotiate. That was the fun part. Don't try to negotiate in banana suits though. If you really think you're in for a bargain, don't try it there. And then we had to get visas ahead of time, so make sure you have empty pages in your passport so that you can paste your visas in. So if you're going to go, make sure your passport's valid for 6 months before you go. We didn't have any troubles, but yeah, very minimal paperwork to be able to get it done, but don't negotiate in banana suits, that's for sure. And that's it. That was
What months were y'all there?
We were there from June 24th to July 24th. So we were there in our summer and I guess theirs.
Did it rain much?
Yeah, every day. Yeah, but at that point you're already wet, so it really didn't matter. You open your hotel room door, you're soaked. It didn't matter. So, and then walking around, you were soaked. But yeah, we enjoyed it.
Feel free to ask questions if you have more.
How much weight did you gain?
None, because we walked like fools and we sweated all the soup out. You know, we were constantly hungry because we have soup and noodles, and the noodles burn off, the soup you sweat out of your pores, so I bet we had pho coming out of our pores.
Yeah, I don't think we might have lost weight actually. We ate all the time.
Yeah,
So what were the meals running? What did they cost you?
I mean, maybe no more than $2, maybe $3, nothing, some of the fancier places we paid maybe $12, couple beers, you know, maybe $15, but most of the sort of street pho, maybe $1.50, breakfast, no problem. But for them, their currency is like 100,000 baht,
Not in Thailand
and that was basically like 50 cents. So you're paying with 100,000 baht. Feels like, you know, you just feel like you're mafia. It's $20, you know? And so I got a little fanny pack, and it was just chock full of cash, and it's like $30. But their 50 cents was 100,000 of, yeah.
And beers ran how much?
Oh, less than $1.
Yeah, really nothing.
Yeah, it was doing okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. For lunch, a fancy lunch was $12. I mean, yeah, that was with rounds of beers and everything else with it. Yeah.
Did you do the planning before you went, or did you kind of as you went along?
No, we flew into the south. We knew we wanted to go to Thailand, and we knew we wanted to go from south to north. But everything else we bought 2-3 days in advance. We talked to our homestay people, to the hostel, talked to anybody who really spoke English, and we would just kind of figure out what we were going to do. And like in Hoi An, we knew we were going to go to that central part. We didn't know where and what we were going to do. And most of the time we booked our hotels or homestays or farm stays 2 days in advance from when we got there.
Did you do those online?
Yeah. All online. I don't know if there was a specific website that we would have used, but it really didn't matter. All told, the accommodations were, you know, like I said, $12 a night probably, you know, and air conditioning was like $12.50 a night. So it really was not that crazy. We stayed one night without air conditioning, and we knew we would never do that again. So we knew we were going to spring the extra $2 for air conditioning. Yeah, because we needed some escape from the exterior. Yeah.
How did you get your cash? You use ATM?
The best place was the airport. Whenever we flew into an airport, the exchange rate was incredible, and we tried to get some exchanges sort of on the, like, not on the street, but we would go to gold stores, like jewelry stores, and they would exchange cash. We wouldn't do any of that on the street, but mostly airports, and the exchange rate was usually better there than some of the places in town. So that was also kind of surprising. You know, usually the airports got the worst exchange rate, and that was easily the safest place. So, and you know, we would exchange $100, and it would be enough for 2 weeks or something, you know, unless we were booking some type of travel, like the taxi, I think, cost us $20-something, and that was like, oh my God, we need, you know, this much cash. And it's like, oh, here you go, sir. You know, it's incredible. Just the currency. Yeah. I enjoyed that. I'm a big fan of cash, so you know, having a big old, yeah, here you go, sir. It was fun. Yeah.
So you're relying on English, and that wasn't a problem?
Like, there's a world language of negotiation. No. And they're calculator based. They're like, this is how much it's going to cost you. No. And then you type in your calculator. And they're like, oh, come on. And then do their calculator. And, you know, we're fighting over 10 cents. You know, and they're like, oh, come on. All right, 10 more cents. All right. And really, that was the fun of it. You know, it wasn't so much the price, it was just the interaction that was more fun. And then, you know, then we'd end up giving them the original amount. Like, oh, come on, man, get out of here. You know?
How much did your banana suits cost?
Nothing. We brought back 15 of them. We got one for our entire group of friends, and we showed up to one party and we handed everybody a suit. And everybody changed, and we're all in banana suits. Yeah, it cost us really nothing. I mean, yeah.
Maybe $5 or $6.
Maybe $5 or $6, yeah. And if they didn't have our size, they had it in 30 seconds. It was like, boom, came back on the scooter, and they got all the banana suits. Like, all right, which one do you want? You know?
But we did it because everywhere we went, and a lot of like young Chinese couples were traveling in the same places that we were, and they would buy like actually tailored, like nice looking, ours were not tailored, like banana suits or like some other vibrant print. So
Yeah,
everywhere you
suits.
went, you would see these young couples, and they would be wearing just like head to toe matching outfits, and so we just had to get on board.
Yeah, so the banana suits were it. Yeah. Yeah, they were tight already there, you know, for me, for sure. I went to go buy some type of jersey, and I was like, extra large. I put it on. Oh, come on, extra large. Like, what do you got? The biggest thing was, you know, yeah, exciting stuff. Yeah. But you got to want to be there. It's so hot. It's so humid. And walking around, you really have to want to be there as far as, you know, we're used to air conditioning and you know, Ubers or whatever, and here it's all pedestrian friendly, it's all outside, but you gotta want to sweat it out. You know, it's like going to Houston and never getting in your car, just walking around Houston all day long. But we end up really enjoying that in the end.
Is there a time of year where it's not so hot?
We would like to know. We would like to know. Plan our second trip
I
at a
think
better
in the
time.
spring and in our spring and fall, it's a lot more temperate to actually go there. We went in the cheapest time of year to visit.
In the sort of low
The
season.
hottest time.
Yeah, the hottest time. Yeah, to save $2 or whatever it would have been.
It was worth it.
Your birthday, you had to go that time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, golden birthdays.
So after that fabulous adventure, is anything else in the works for you two?
Yeah, so actually, before this, I was in the Czech Republic for 30 days, and I flew from there to Vietnam, and then we came back here, and then we went to Mexico for 2 weeks, the week after we got home from this trip. And so that was really just a crazy summer. But our next sort of big adventure, we'd like to do Japan. We would like to sort of get into Japanese culture and cuisine. And so, yeah, if we're going to do something big, that'll be our next big one. Yeah.
So as far as people speaking English, I mean, because it sounded like you could barter on buying things, but getting information and communicating otherwise?
Yeah, we didn't care too much of where we were, where we were going, or what we were doing. You know, I guess that was our only benefit. You know, we didn't have an agenda. We didn't have to be anywhere. So,
But you can get around without, I mean, you learn please and thank you.
maybe every 10th person could help you.
And there's a lot of tourism. There's a lot of Australians, a lot of Norwegians traveling around
Yeah.
who are speaking English.
Yeah.
So speak a sentence that you learned, so we can hear what it sounds like.
Oh, a sentence, I don't think anything. But to say thank you is come home.
Come home.
Come home,
Yeah.
and so we learned how to say thank you. So we said that
A
every
lot.
Yeah, we said thank you a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you find out about things like the cooking school and the boat tours and?
One of my good friends, he was leading trips through back roads, which is kind of like a glitz and glamour type of thing. And he had a couple of sort of recommendations. So we knew he would recommend doing this, and then we would just ask our farm stay or homestay people like, hey, can we do this? He said, oh, no problem, I'll arrange it. So we stayed at a lot of these sort of homestays. So it was like some guy's house, he has sort of a farm and he's got a couple rooms, and anything that you wanted to do, he would sort of arrange. So we wanted a scooter one day, boom, it shows up in 5 minutes. We wanted to do the cooking class, so tomorrow at 8 o'clock they'll be here. He also booked our snorkeling trip. We just sort of left it in his hands. And that was kind of nice, not staying in the Ritz-Carlton. We stayed with the homestay. We could talk with the guy. And end of day, he was like, what do you guys want to do tomorrow? What are you guys up to? What do you want to do? And he wouldn't necessarily sell us on anything, but we would say, maybe we'll go snorkeling. What do you got? And the cooking class, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. And so he's beating on our door at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hey, you guys signed up. They're here. What are you guys doing? Well, we thought it was lunch, not breakfast. Like, come on, man, it's 8 o'clock. So, and he was like, okay, here's coffee. You guys just go. Just hop in. And so we're showing up at the market. Green coffee, like, what is going on? So that was kind of the advantage of staying smaller places, more home style type places. That led us into different paths. And most of the places we stayed, they would lend us a scooter or we could rent a scooter. And that was really, really nice. And I think scooter rentals were like $5. But they were like, we don't know how much gas has in it, and we don't care how much it comes back with. So, like, we started one up and we started driving, and then I pull over, I'm like, this thing's totally empty. Where were we going? So, trying to buy gas was quite exciting too, because we didn't know how much we needed, and yeah, that was exciting. But, yeah. Anything else?
Anything else?
When are you gonna have a big cooking thing we can all attend? And
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, we cook Vietnamese food maybe once a week. Yeah, it's really simple, just really fresh ingredients. Spring rolls have become our go-to. It's a quick meal. You don't really have to cook anything. You just have to prep vegetables and maybe one protein. And that was one of our learning lessons on here. We had rolled spring rolls before we went, and when we went there, we learned we had been doing it all wrong. I mean, just completely wrong. We saw how they were doing it in a restaurant, like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, we learned a lot. Yeah, cooking class, that was really, really fun. Yeah. So that's us.